Hello everyone, welcome back to part two. Well, part two this evening for John and I anyway, of the Football Uncensored podcast. We're going to try and do a quick little bit about the Premiership over the weekend and the current
Premier
situation.
League.
Sorry, God, schoolboy.
Yeah. Schoolboy
Premier
era.
League,
Premiership's
Premier
up
League.
north where the sweat is.
Sorry all. Premier League.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
My Scottish brethren,
Uh,
especially
it's,
the
luck
cab drivers.
it's lucky you're here.
Mm.
Right, straight into it. I think we're going straight into it, no messing about. Oh, I'm looking at the league, and I did look at it before we come back on air, so I don't have to look down and cheat.
Right.
And there's some clubs up there right now in the top 10, and some of them top six, like
Like who?
Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Fulham. I think just about in that order. Brighton were as high as second, I think, before the games on Sunday
Yeah, that's right.
after their lucky point against the mighty Southampton. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving swiftly on from that.
Yeah.
The point being, it's good to see some clubs outside of these supposed big six that are named up there and challenging for the top six in the Premier League. John, what do you think? Can
Yeah.
they sustain it?
I don't think so. Then again, if they did, it wouldn't surprise me for the simple reason, and I'm not sitting on the fence and trying to be all um, ambiguous about it. Sometimes the job just fits the manager, and the manager fits the job. Um, some managers maybe in certain cases the plans and ambitions are too big for the club they're at. Others it's a perfect fit. And some might even argue that um and I've always liked him, the Forest guy. Uh he didn't get a fair crack at the whip at Spurs, right? And it might just be a good fit. And the way he comes across, and there seems to be a really nice atmosphere there because he's always struck me as a really lovely guy, nice man, um, very erudite, very fair, very praising, and a compassionate type of person. Um, but at the same time, you do see him sometimes bare his teeth when he's not happy with something, but he does it in a really nice way. He does it in a really good way, really eloquent way. Um, as for the other guy at Brighton, he's come in, he's been a revelation. You know what I mean? But it might just be a case of looking at things that I think what they would do now, they would. I mean, I don't know. It might be so far wide of the market, it's unbelievable. But I'm just thinking from a personal point of view, given a chance again, or given the time again, opportunity, if you want to call it an opportunity, you'd probably, even though I was in it, you'd probably go over old stuff on the film. Or you'd have, if you were being um, approached about the job, sounded out about the job, you maybe send someone to have a look at them for half a dozen games and do match reports. And
Hmm.
then you can sort of build your training regime around that. There's no two ways about it. He's been a revelation since he's come in. The Fulham guy, I think he's just a steady Eddie. He's done a fantastic job there. He's done a good job, treated very harshly at Everton. Um, yeah, so in a nutshell, I suppose I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'd be very surprised if they can sustain it because I think it will be the usual suspects. When we had the discussion before, I said I think it'd be out of Arsenal or Chelsea, who would be third, and the other one would be fourth. I still stand by that.
It's looking
Although I
a
might be
reasonable
wrong.
prediction so far.
I mean, looking at the City thing now, I might be wrong. You know, what I mean, I might be wrong because they've fallen right away. What is it now? Is it 11 points, 9 or 11?
I will cheat on this now because it's
Yeah,
one or the other.
off off of Liverpool.
City, City are 11 off Liverpool,
Mm.
2 points off second
That's a
because
bit, yeah, yeah. Well, that's
as
more doable. I think it's a big ask to claw back, especially the way Liverpool are playing.
hmm.
They've got like massive confidence from all their performances. They've been set up right. It's been like almost a continuum of Klopp. Although their their disposition, their demeanour on the touchline is that's chalk and cheese.
Just
You
a
know
little
what I
bit.
mean? Yeah, poles apart, but a lot of it is very similar. And for me, it's just I watched it in quite detailed format. The win over City at the weekend. I thought it was fantastic. A fantastic performance. The
I've,
only thing
I've
that could
yet,
have spoiled it was the Van Dijk drag back when he got caught on the ball, but the goalkeeper bailed him out.
yeah, I've yet to see it. I'll be catching up tomorrow, hopefully before nights
Yeah.
with all the highlights.
He
But
got a load of praise, Van Dijk, and then I thought to myself earlier, I wish they'd have been about when I was about, or I wish I'd have been about now, because he got very high praise indeed in all the thing on Twitter and the papers and different pundits. And then I watched the match of the day too, and the guest last night alongside Alan Shearer was David Moyes, and he said you're an ex centre back, and he said yeah, and it was like praise to high heaven for basically dealing with headers and clearances. So I just thought to myself, I just wish he was about when I was playing. So it's amazing now you do your job as a centre back, and it's like you found a cure for terminal illness.
what's Roy Keane's phrase? That it's going to become it's probably going to become a gif or whatever they call those memes that you send the jokes. I'm not going to do the accent because I'll offend an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, it's his job, isn't it? That's what Keane says. It's his job. You get someone
Oh,
effusing praise for someone, and they go, "Oh, he's
yeah.
done this, he's done that, he's done that," and you got Roy Keane sat there going,
If you
"Good
get a good
job, mate."
first, yeah, if you get a good first touch, if you take a good first touch and make an accurate pass, if you win a header, if you deal with an header where you've got no one within 2 square meters of you, and you just punch a header away, if you get across the guy, get a one-touch clearance and get a good surface to it, I'm 100% with Roy. You're just doing your job. You're doing your job, and yeah, you're doing it well, and that's it. You're doing your job. It's what you're paid for. You're doing your job. You know what I mean?
One
But the
thing I
thing, oh, he was here, he was there, he'd look at this, and he gauged this right, and he gauged that right. The good defending is all about it was a number of things, but being first to the ball for your clearances, height, width, and distance on your clearance, getting a good surface to it, not necessarily in that order. Making play predictable, gauging your depth. And I thought one of the things he did well was he gauged his depth well. He knew when to drop out, he knew when to go tight. And for me, Liverpool was the performance of the week. Unbelievable. Having said that, sorry to be a smart ass, but I've only been saying it for 2.5 years. There's only one way to give you any chance of playing against Man City. And they did it. They did it to perfection. And a couple of clubs have, whereby they've engaged City high up the field. Um, Ireland's not, he's a power, he's very powerful power runner. They've got a bit of pace and a bit of trickery around him. Not necessarily in the wide areas with the likes of Grealish when he plays. He's more taking the ball offline, chopping it back way, one way then the other, then back the other way. Um, so really, no real pace. And I don't understand how managers have never really seen it, or they've seen it and haven't put it into practical use, whereby you can engage them high up the field. And then he played him his own game, which he tapped into the Bielsa theory of 5 and 5, and that's exactly, if you look at what Liverpool did, that's exactly more or less what they did: 5 and 5, or 4-1 and then 5, and they engaged them high up, and they kept them pushed back and exposed the centre backs and pulled them wide with regards to, because they play similar to Arsenal with the people on wide, Salah and maybe Diaz on the other side, or Gakpo, and then the Diaz up the middle, or the other guy who comes on is that Uruguayan, the big, powerful,
Nunes.
pretty boy Nunes. He they pushed them right back. Then you've got a decision to make. Did you sacrifice, uh, with one of your inverted fullbacks who becomes an extra midfield player? Um, which inevitably had to do. You found people, if you look at it, you had to make a lot of recovery runs, Carl Walker. And I'll tell you what I like, Rob.
Mm.
You remember the Bob Paisley thing, and maybe it's a Liverpool doctrine all the way through. And they was trying to pin him down and half mug him off, and he sort of batted the whoever it was. This, I don't know, it must have been a TV interview. And he sort of batted him away. It's just like dismissive in the, don't try and get back me into a corner. About the way you play football, this and that. And Bob Paisley said it's not about the short pass, it's not about the long pass, it's about the right pass. And leading to the first goal, the one from Trent Alexander-Arnold, he sort of chopped across it. He struck, which you can do. Um, as he struck it, he sort of he's chopped across it as he struck it, and it sort of went long, looped and bent inside the Salah. Um, but then the guy never is it Aki never got out to him. Uh,
Actually, yeah, you could. Like I say, I'm
or,
not
or
seeing
or the
it.
other
So,
guy. Yeah, no, I think Aki was in the middle. Should have dealt with it because his recovery
oh,
run was good, but I don't think he wanted to take a chance. If you look at it, he sort of goes like almost lets it. Well, I'm gonna let it run by me, which is half cheating. It's not cheating, but it's half. It's a decision you make on the spur of the moment where I think he should have took responsibility and got a surface to it, and then he's coming on the far post, Gakpo for the tapping. Yeah, but
well, I look
nice to
forward
see
to.
a mixture.
Mm.
Where you can the thing suck the opposition in and then rebound it on them with one decent medium length pass or long pass. Fantastic performance.
Well, I look forward to watching that then. As we said, there, Liverpool currently nine clear. You said City are 11. Sorry, to clarify, Liverpool are nine clear of second place, which is Arsenal. I think only on goal difference from Chelsea.
Yeah,
As we said, City are 11 behind Liverpool, and I think you said that's going to be a tough deficit to claw back.
it is.
Looking at it from the other way around, Liverpool are nine clear. Are you buying into the? Okay, so I'm sure I've not read the papers or anything today again, so apologies. I'm sure there's some rhetoric about they can't blow it from here. They've won the title and this, that, and the other. And I'm sure there'll be a few more level-headed views of it's only the second day in December.
Yeah,
So, I mean, what do you think? I know you said at the
yeah,
start of the season you cited Liverpool and thought they would be
yeah. I
City's
stuck with
worst
them. Yeah,
challengers,
yeah.
could do them.
I stuck with them. I thought they could have done it last year, but you know my explanation for that.
Hmm.
I thought Klopp let the cat out of the bag with regards to him leaving, and then it weren't that long after where he's been appointed in some capacity or another as an official somewhere. Um, Remiss of me not to know and all that, but I'm really not paid to do it. Um, but nevertheless, he's back in, and I just thought he let the cat out of the bag far too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the speculation, all the talk. He just said, "Oh, I'll talk about it when we're done, when the season's over." Instead of which, he put his cards on the table, told everyone what was going on, what was going to happen, and it doesn't matter who you are, um, how animated you are, how much charisma you got. Inevitably, things will drop off a couple of 3, 5, 10%, as much as 10%, and they were very inconsistent. And I thought there would have been a bigger threat last year. It turned out to be Arsenal, but I've stuck with them this year because I
Right.
think the guys come in, hit the ground running, picked up the thread from Klopp, particularly the formation and the way they play in terms of it in teams on the rebound. And sometimes they defend deep, sometimes they press high, and he's got the players to recognise when to do both, which I think is fantastic.
A few people have said, I say when I say people, I've read it in the press or seen the pundits have said, this is going back a few weeks that
Yeah,
well, Liverpool they've had a relatively comfy start to the season fixture wise. We'll see how they get on when they get into the nitty gritty. Well, this week, regardless of the form that City are in at the moment, which can be regarded as a slump, I think we might touch on them in a minute. We'll go back to them in a minute. But Liverpool have beaten Real Madrid and City, I think 2-0 both times in the space of less than a week.
takes some
So
doing, doesn't it?
if
Yeah,
that's not top draw opposition, I'm not sure what is really.
yeah. And just got to make sure it's not a case of after the Lord Mayor's show, because if they just eliminate it one game at a time, depending on what they target, um, I think FA and League Cups are probably further down the thing. If they want to target the Champions League, they probably could. Most certainly the Premier League, because they've got to lose three, and Arsenal have got to win the three. That like, you know what I mean, in consecutive weeks to claw that nine back, and then you've got so that might be a blip. You might have a 1 week blip or a 10 day blip. Um, with City, it's 11, so they've got to win. They've got to win 4 games, uh, which Liverpool got to lose. So even though there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, and there's you're still going to have the roller coaster of ups and downs in terms of dips in form and whatever. It's going to be a big ask, and out of the 6 titles, he's won. It'll probably be the biggest achievement of them all.
Oh, without doubt,
Yeah,
more than a humble opinion. You mentioned Arsenal there. Let's just quickly talk about Arsenal. They had a little blip, certainly compared to what City are going through at the moment. I think it was three, maybe four games if you include Europe without winning. They had a couple of red cards and etc. in that. But Martin Odegaard, who many consider I mean, he's skipper. Many consider him their talisman. He was out for a few games, which coincided with that run. He's come back the last two or three games, and they've started crashing in goals and winning again. Is it uh, is it a true reflection that clubs can sometimes be that reliant on one player,
Yeah,
or is
yeah,
that just a
yeah,
coincidence?
yeah. When they're not there, it don't matter what managers and coaches say. They all know deep down that there's a fulcrum to their side. You understand? There's a focal point, a fulcrum, a heartbeat to the side. And I think Odegaard probably is a bit more mature than some of the others in terms of age, playing experience, and you could tell he's a leader. He always wants the ball. He's an integral part of any build-up. I think, yeah, it was a big miss, and they had a lot of other injuries as well. Then you had the disciplinary problem. Maybe that once they've got over them couple of bits and pieces, um, yeah, I think the only way's up now, and I think it showed with him coming back. Although, honestly and truly, no disrespect, I've got a lot of pals who are West Ham supporters, a lot of friends, and like avid, really passionate West Ham.
Mm,
Um, but no disrespect to them, I wouldn't gauge it, the win against West Ham, as anything to go by. I mean, the other week was probably a little bit more thing when he first come back. But with regards to the game, the 5-2, um, I said there are problems of that. We've had this hiatus because of work, because of stuff, me going, having to appear in court for different things. We might do another podcast about all the goings on or what shambles that's been. Um, But I did say a long while ago, quite a while ago, and I've been saying it on Twitter that I just think they're too flaky in midfield. There's too much of a muchness in there. They've got no real identity. They're very reliant on a guy up front who's powerful and bustling and an handful and physically imposing, but not really a goal scorer. The ratio of chances missed as opposed to chances converted will be massive. And I just said they're not good enough at the back. I think he's on thin ice. At Lopetegui, I think he's on very thin ice. And it's amazing. Be careful what you wish for. I
mm.
mean, you look at the practicality and the pragmatism of Moyes, and he got them their first European trophy in however many, half a century, whatever, nearly half a century. And their first cup final for 30 odd years, whatever it was. Um, and respectable in the league, then had a bad season, then another good season. It just goes to show that you've got to be careful with, and that your name ending in a vowel is not always the answer.
Yeah, well, they look a million miles away from that at the moment,
Yeah,
don't they? It's
yeah,
just distant memory.
yeah,
We approach it, well, as I said earlier, we're already in December, so yeah, Christmas morning, spoiler alert, everyone. But Christmas in football means a lot of games in a short amount of time. December's probably the busiest time. You tell me, John, you played and managed December, pretty relentless fixtures.
yeah. It's good, isn't it?
And it is good, yeah. No, don't get me wrong.
I
I'm not
enjoyed it.
moaning.
I loved it.
I'm not. I'm not moaning, but we might. How soon until we hear the moans from manager or players about, oh, it's too many games. We've got to rest and rotate. We've already played so and so this week. We've got an early kickoff on Saturday, and we only played on Wednesday and all that. But,
Yeah,
I mean, early days, yeah. It's only the 2nd of December, but I don't think
yeah.
it'll be too long. Probably a couple of weeks before we start hearing the usual gripes.
I'd just say if someone said to me, "I think, oh, you've got a lot of injuries at the moment, or you've got injuries at the moment, the workload," I'd just say, yeah, it's what we signed up for. Simple as that. Go home, shut your mouth, have a turkey sandwich, some pickled onions, little silver skin pickled onions, turkey sandwich, maybe a bit of pickle on it. Um, I used to like that with maybe a bit of lettuce and cranberry. Um, the only time I didn't like it was when I had to leave my family on Christmas Day once during my last season, and then I went up and we ate at the hotel, and I got food poisoning, and I felt
Right.
terrible. And I come over, I felt sick, I had a migraine, and then it cleared up. and Eustace thought I was trying to pull a stroke. Anyway, the game got called off. So we went all the way up there on Christmas Day and then came back on Boxing Day after the game getting called off. You know what I mean? That was the only thing for me was being away from the family on Christmas Day.
Hmm.
Um, but it is what it is. I think you just, for me, I just loved it. I love training. I love playing. Didn't love some of the training, but nevertheless, always woke up every day looking forward to it as a player, a coach, and a manager. And I think you should put that face on. Um, I always promised myself, and we promised each other, like regardless of the result and the performance, you've got to come in bright and breezy. You've got to come in positive, upbeat. You know, your body language, disposition. Go, let's get out and train. We're getting paid to do this. You know what I mean? Whereas other people pay subs. Other people they pay subs to play. They're getting paid tens, if not hundreds of thousands to play. So my approach would be, as long as you rest and replenish appropriately, your body should be able to handle it. I can't understand the slight contradiction and the hypocrisy of taking the reward, then complaining about the fixture pile up, and then the not hypocrisy, the contradiction of being supreme athletes, better athletes than days of yore when the pitches were mud baths, like playing on quicksand as opposed to the pitches of today. And then still coming up with a thing that we can't, the fixes are everyone's tired, everyone looks a bit leggy, all these expressions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
do it, attack it, run through it, and come out the other side, and then give them as much time as they need after when it starts to calm down. And they've got all the gizmo. We never had all that. They've got all the gizmo. They've got the ice baths, they've got even the medical staff are bigger than the UN delegation before you come to the whole staff. And they've got all the massage therapists and the stretching program therapists and stretching program coaches and all that. The managers should know what to do and take their thing from their guidance from the medical side and approach it thing. One regret
uh,
I got is um, again, you expect people to approach it how you did, and you can't. So that was poor management on my part.
yeah.
Someone thought an hour's training on Christmas Day was too long. I remember playing for Gillingham. I had to drive through a snowstorm from Edmonton in North London to Gillingham in Kent to have a warm up and a half-hour small-sided game, and then drive all the way home again in a snowstorm on icy, snowy A2 to get ready for a game on Boxing Day. Right when is what you should have done, Keith Peacock is trusted me to go out and have a loosener and a stretch and do some box to box maybe and a couple of sprints, and then enjoy my Christmas Day, but don't go mad. And I'll see you Boxing Day. But I had to drive it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you either want to play or you don't want to play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just quickly on the medical stuff. I mean, you guys had the magic sponge in your day playing. I don't see the issue really with all this.
Yeah.
And I hope you didn't speed on the A2 on the way back from Gillingham to Edmonton.
I took my two dogs with me, so like, I got there early, so we can't get and I let them have a run and a walk round. Took them for a walk, let them have a run, and then locked them back in the car, and then so I had a bit of company.
You're thinking.
Yeah,
Last couple of minutes on this episode, we've shot through again, unfortunately. Just on on managers again. Steve Cooper became I think, yeah, only the second Premier League manager to be sacked this season so far, which is still quite a surprising statistic. Decisive, harsh, or both by Leicester, do you think? We've literally got a couple of minutes, John. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I think probably both. He was on idea and nothing coming from Forest. He'd done the thing with England, the FA, one of the age groups, or a couple of age groups, quite revered. Initially started well at Forest, then it went down a little bit. Um, I don't know about his personality. I don't know whether he's a big enough personality, charismatic enough. I thought that was out of order. We miss you, Enzo, whatever it is, the sign the players put up. I thought that was abominable. When there's a thing, when there's a bad undercurrent with managers, which I've experienced it a few times, you keep your thoughts to yourself. That's just me being old fashioned, a little bit old school. He might have liked me, he might have not liked me. The only time I've really been outspoken was one at Millwall, which was Peter Anderson. Because again, I was lied to and kidded on, and then the exact opposite happened, and I felt betrayed. and let down. And I've got another thing again in my book. No qualms in and I'm not at all ashamed to admit I got very, very emotional when I had to leave Millwall. But when it's the other way round, me and my wife got very emotional. We made a lot of good friends here, and I was only there for 18 months.
Mm.
But what I will say, when it's the other way round, I think if a manager goes, sometimes secretly you're saying good riddance, but you don't say it out loud. You keep your thoughts to yourself, and all this, we miss you, Enzo, we miss you, blah blah blah. It might have been a different approach to training. It might have been something else where the other geezer was on top of him because he's really turned things right round and made really really positive at Chelsea now. It's really looking good at Chelsea. So there might have been some substance in that, but you don't say it. You keep your thoughts to yourself.
It's
But it's probably
awful,
probably the right decision
awful.
the way they were going.
Yeah, I'd err on. I'd say both. I'd err on the side of decisive. Yeah, decisive but harsh. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one. We'll see how Van Nistelrooy gets on first game
Well, he's
this
got
week.
his work cut out because I've been a big critic of again of their. I think their midfield's too flaky. They're relying on an aging centre forward who I think's magnificent. Been a magnificent player. Is a magnificent player.
Mm,
Seems like the life and soul of the dressing room. Big personality. Fantastic forward. Like I've said in podcasts long time ago. I said it to a pal of mine, Adrian Durham, by direct message at the time as it was a build up to the championship. If I was Southgate, I'd try and get him out of retirement because we've got no one to really threaten the back with that amount of energy and pace in
mm.
that position. At the back, I think they're abominable. And I'll be true with you. I look at the defending of one of them. Um, I said it. I don't care honestly. I don't. I said on Twitter. I won't give them monkeys about the what's politically correct and about their feelings and about wording it appropriately. I said like some of them are getting money under false pretenses. It's got to be made more difficult for the opposition than that. Sorry.
Right. Well, maybe some hope for West Ham fans this week then, because I think it's Leicester West Ham. We are
Yeah.
right out of time, so quick thank you from me for sticking with us. Please continue to do so. We do try as regularly as possible to knock out an episode or two whenever we can. It's not easy at the moment. I'm sure it'll be tricky over Christmas, but we will keep trying. So please stay with us, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, get them to watch. Thank you.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Thanks for that, Rob. Thanks for your time again, mate. And hopefully we can knock a few more out in terms of time available over the Christmas holiday. And look forward to doing it with you. Yeah. So,
We'll
but thanks to
certainly be
everyone
trying.
those that take the time and trouble to watch. And I think next time we're going to maybe a little bit scratch the surface of one's legal problems over the last 16 months.
It's certainly an
I
interesting
thought I left all
story.
that behind when I was a kid.
It's certainly an interesting story. So yeah, tune in for
Yeah,
that, everyone. Thanks again.
yeah.
Good
No
night.
wonder. All right, mate. Cheers. See you later.